That's the original Shallerford Bridge. And I guess they built this new one.
U.S. government, I think that's what it means.
Yep, Forest Road 35. Let's see if we can't go up and find YJ Gap and camp at the top of YJ Gap. And then start Duncan Ridge first thing in the morning. It's one of the stranger things that I've seen. Oddly enough, I've driven, I mean, there's the gate. There's the rig. I've driven by this before. I'm assuming it's an old well, but I've just never seen this egg-shaped thing built like this before. Well, this just confirms that this trail hasn't been ridden that much like we thought. This one might take just a little bit longer to clear it up. Back up a little bit. Sometimes those things have a lot of spring in them. A lot of people would have probably just left this stuff and drove over it, but if you're gonna go through the trouble getting the saw out, you might as well clean the road. All right. Now the trail is open and we can move on through. Wolf Pen Grocery and Suches. Stopped to get fuel real quick. We took a detour off the Georgia Traverse to go about 10 or 15 miles up to a place that we thought we would be able to get to called YJ Gap. Unfortunately, Forest Service has put in concrete barricades and a sign that says no motorized vehicles. So while we were here, I figured I'd go ahead and fuel up on gas. Now we're gonna detour back to Cooper's Creek and jump back on the Traverse. Well, never actually camped at Cooper's Creek. This is the first time I've actually driven around and looked at any of their sites. I've just come up here for day trips fishing. But unfortunately, these are paid sites. Cooper's Creek and Mulkey Gap, or Mulkey Campground, which is just right up, not even a quarter mile. by reservation only, and I did not reserve. So we will not be camping in a campground tonight. We're gonna continue on towards Duncan Ridge and see what we can come up with up that way. The blue blaze there indicates this is the Duncan Ridge Trail. I hiked through here about this time last year, actually. This is where it leaves Duncan Ridge Road. And from here on around the Mulkey Gap is a very, you really need to know what you're doing to hike it. It gets, as you can tell, it's hard to keep up with the trail here. Doesn't get traveled much, and this section over here doesn't get as much attention from trail maintenance as it should. But I drove Duncan Ridge like 2 weeks ago. We were up here and I just used it as a cut through about this time in the afternoon. This was the only place I seen to camp. There was someone else camped here then. No one's up here right now, but it is cold. It's like probably low 40s right now. The wind is blowing. I'm completely exposed on this ridge. I've got wind blowing in from over here and over here. If there's one thing a lot of backpacking has taught me, it's the ridge camping is super cool, but you're gonna freeze. So, you know, it's still pretty early in the day, even though it's getting dark. So we're gonna just continue on and see if we can find somewhere else we can pull into along Duncan Ridge Road that isn't quite as exposed, and maybe will keep us tucked in out of the wind. All right, well, we're still up on Duncan Ridge. We're about 5 miles further down the ridge than what we were when I showed you the last campsite. We've just kind of come to the determination that we're gonna tuck in here for the night and head out of here in the morning and head down to lower elevations and get out of the wind. Maybe do a late lunch or late breakfast, early lunch, skip breakfast and just cook up some breakfast at lunchtime. Early, got another long day tomorrow. We traveled 85 miles today. Got probably another 100 or so to do tomorrow, and then we'll finish up Monday morning. So, woo, as soon as you step out, the wind hits you. All right, we're tucked in for the night. It's not real cold, it's chilly. But we got our heavy bags and our heated blanket going for a little while. But we're gonna watch some Baker Overland, and then we'll be out for the night. We'll get going first thing in the morning. Oh, this is a new deck.
It looks pretty new.
This didn't used to be here. Watch out for the holes.
Having a nice breakfast.
Yep. Late breakfast, early lunch, I don't know. It's right around lunchtime. We cooked and ate, and then we had a really cool conversation with 2 state troopers. They pulled in and were taking some photos of their Durango in front of Yona Mountain here. Shout out to Derek and shout out to Jonathan. Those guys were stand up. You know, they asked about the rig, asked, you know, where we camp, how we camp, and all that kind of stuff. It was a really good interaction, the way interactions with the cops should be. So shout out to those guys for keeping it real. And now we're gonna head towards Helen. We got to bypass Trey Mountain. We're gonna go up around Lake Burton, and then we're gonna check out Popcorn Creek Trail, I believe is what it's called, or Popcorn Trail, Popcorn Road, something like that.
I think it's Popcorn Creek.
If we can't, or we feel uncomfortable with it, we'll back out and we'll double back around to Hightower Gap and start our way up through Charlie's Creek and down to the river crossing, come out around Tate City. It's gonna bottom out.
Your front tires making dirt go down. Yeah, right there. There's a deep hole where your front tire is at.
Dude, thanks for being smarter. Just keep an eye on that passenger tire over there.
Okay. Hey, your passenger tire was floating. You're looking good.
Smoking that clutch.
Yeah, it is.
All right, so we are now, we are at Blue Ridge Gap. This is, I guess technically it's Charlie's Creek. It was Hightower Road. I think when it gets to Blue Ridge Gap, it turns into Charlie's Creek Road. Popcorn Road it got a little tense there for a little bit. I I completely smoked my clutch. Having a little bit of issues switching gears now. It wouldn't switch at all at first, and then we got it to cool down, and we've driven it on the pavement coming from Popcorn to Hightower. It's gotten a little better, but it's not completely gone, but it's definitely on its way out, so we'll see what happens. Now that I'm looking at it here.
Yeah, and then the rock in front of it, on your left, there's another drop.
Anything on my right?
No, you're good on your right.
It is hard to catch what this actually is on camera, but there was one point back here where when I came through, my back right tire was probably
At least 7 feet in the air.
yeah, it was pretty up there. And then we teetered right here in this hole. Really wish we would have got it on camera, but there was a group of Ford Raptors that came through, and I'd already had to back up, and we were just ready to get through it and get out of the way. It's gotten progressively worse since July, because I was told in July that I could have came down this in my Toyota. It's still like when you're behind the windshield looking at it, even over all the years of being in the Jeep Club and all, it's like every time I'm behind that windshield and I look over into a big road like that, it's just, you get this weird feeling in your belly like about to go on our noggins. See the different bounces in the road? Right rear shock gave flipped under the axle and has now got the truck locked down in the middle of the road.
Connect the...
All right, a jack, couple zips with the impact later, and we have the rad flow shock out of there, which I'm pretty sure is trashed. I think the shaft's bent. The ear doesn't look broken on top, so I don't know if the bolt just backed out or what. Maybe salvageable. I'll have to take it home and clean it up and find out. Dug a pretty good trench in the road. We'll clean that up. Luckily, it did not bend or break the shock mount on the axle. I don't know how it didn't bend it or break it, but it did not. So, okay, so after getting the shock off, getting back on the road, we went down, turned around, then drove all the way back out. But when I got in the truck to crank it and move it out of the middle of the road so we could load everything back into it, it was hard to crank. Like the starter was cranking, but the truck wouldn't start. Didn't want to dip back into the woods and be out somewhere camping and not be able to crank up in the morning. And same thing. And then this time I've got a service engine light on, so I don't have my scanner with me. And we've just made the decision, like, we're super close and it would be awesome to be able to finish the Traverse on this trip. You know, we probably don't have but a few hours to finish up, and we were going to continue on tonight to get even more done and then set up camp later, cook a cool dinner. But at this point, it's like we don't want to be stuck out in the middle of the woods somewhere and then have to pay somebody to come do an off-road recovery and then pay to have it towed 4 hours back to the house. So the best decision we have is to just head on to the house. I've already texted my wife and told her, like, hey, we're headed home, having truck issues. Definitely chewed this up. This was loose, it was leaking fluid. Got this tightened back down. I'm gonna pick up a crush washer or a kit of crush washers so I can replace this because that one's all chewed up, probably not working. Got this to move. Got this one on the back to move. I think I'm gonna be able to save it. I've got the rear bolt. Wasn't sure how it mounted to the rig, so I crawled under and looked, and there's a bolt that's welded on at the top. Bolt, it's still there, but the nut is gone. So I'm gonna see if I can find a nut. First gear, clutch, no pedal, really. Crank right up. I'm gonna go ahead and hook this scanner up and see what code we're running. Crankshaft position sensor A. I figured that's what it was. Crankshaft. Yeah, so I called it yesterday. I said crank sensor, and that's typical for every off-road vehicle, I think. Clear this code. So I cleared all the codes. It's gonna take a few minutes for it to process here, but okay, there it is. Is the sensor actually bad now? I mean, it's down there, I'm assuming down there near the starter and the bell housing and all. So if I smoked the clutch yesterday, which I absolutely did, it superheated all that stuff down there, and it could have been subjected to a lot of heat. Could be calling it to intermittently fail. Let's see what it does after it's kind of operating temp and the code is cleared. Let's see if it will start back now. Like it should, no problem. Got the new studs to fix this shock, get it put back on. It's gonna require cutting and on the outside and the inside. And if it goes well, I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side preemptively. I've got 3 of these, so I've got enough to replace both sides and have a spare for a trail repair if I need it. So I guess all we can do is get after it. The shock is back on. I just put that little rope on there with a clove hitch so that if it does break or that it does come loose again, it's not gonna bounce and flip under the axle like it did last time. Got super lucky with it. I did pick up a new crank sensor today, so we'll tackle that as well. I just took out the fender liner since I was already rotating the tires. I figured it'd be easier, but I'm actually surprised at how easy it was to find that. I was expecting it to be a little further up at the top, but it's right there. Also, it's a little loose already, so I'm not sure what that's about, but we're gonna go ahead and put the new one in. Okay, here are the 2 side by side. Old one, new one. And you can definitely tell that this one has been subjected to, let's see, a very high heat cycle. New crank sensor in. I've already got the scanner hooked up. Let's see what happens. Still got the check engine code, but we're gonna give it a second, let this boot up. There that is. Let's go ahead and clear this code. There goes the codes. And it did not shut off. So let's go ahead and turn this thing off. Go ahead and give it a go again. Cranks right up just like it's supposed to. Fires right up like it's supposed to. I like that a lot. pull up off these stoppers a little bit. I have the hardest time with recording content with the Nissan because it's like you get out, you turn the phone on, it connects to CarPlay, it stops the recording. It's kind of annoying. I've messed up several good segments, which this one just got messed up. I took the truck for about a 10-minute drive and I'm all the way back up on power. No check engine light, everything is good. Shock's working good. Clutch is working better. Seems like maybe some of my issues were related to being real low on power and skipping because of that crank sensor. Because now pedal's still soft, definitely still did some damage, but I've put about 200 miles on it over the last 2 days since that happened, and I think it's gonna be fine. Definitely need a kit in the future, but still got some more adventuring in it, so that will be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed the little bit extended cut here where I show some of the damage and getting it repaired, but hopefully we'll be back out there tomorrow and finishing up the Traverse. Catch you guys on the next one.